She sent her last text at 9:47 p.m. He seems nice. A little quiet, but nice. I'll text you when I'm on my way home. Her best friend read it at 9:48 p.m. She typed back, "Be safe. Love you." She didn't think anything of it. It was a normal text from a normal night. A first date. A new restaurant. A man from a dating app who seemed harmless. At 10:15 p.m., she texted again, "I think something is wrong." Her best friend didn't see it. She was in the shower. By the time she got out, 15 minutes had passed. She grabbed her phone. Read the message. Her blood went cold. She called. No answer. She called again. No answer. She called a third time. The phone rang and then went to voicemail. "Hey, it's me. I got your text. Call me right now. Please. I'm scared." She waited. She called again. She called the restaurant. They said a woman matching her description had left with a man around 10 p.m. No, they didn't know his name. No, they didn't have a reservation. No, they didn't see which way they went. She called the police at 11:30 p.m. They told her to wait. People lose track of time. She might have gone to his place. She might have turned her phone off. Call back in 24 hours. She didn't wait. She drove to the restaurant. She drove to the woman's apartment. She drove to the parking lot where her car was still parked, untouched, waiting. She sat in her car and stared at the last message. "I think something is wrong." Those 5 words. Sent at 10:15 p.m. Read at 10:30 p.m. Too late. Always too late. This is the story of a woman who sent a warning that no one received in time. A killer who left no trace. A case that remains unsolved because the person who could have saved her was in the shower when the text arrived. Her name was Courtney. She was 28 years old. She went on a first date on a Friday night and was never seen again. And her last text has haunted everyone who read it for over a decade. Courtney Meyers was 28 years old. A third-grade teacher from Portland, Oregon. The kind of person who made everyone feel like they mattered. Her students adored her. She stayed after school to help kids who were struggling. She brought cupcakes on Fridays. She remembered every birthday. When a child was sick, she called their parents to check on them. When a child was sad, she sat with them until they felt better. Her friends called her Sunshine. Because she lit up every room she walked into. Because she could make anyone laugh. Because she was the person everyone wanted to be around. She'd been single for about 2 years when she decided to try dating apps. Her friends had met their partners online. It was normal now. Safe, even. She was careful. She always met in public places. She always told someone where she was going. She always texted updates. On that Friday night in April, she matched with a man named David. His profile said he was a marketing executive. His photos showed a handsome man with kind eyes and a friendly smile. They talked for a week. Easy conversation. The kind that feels like you've known each other longer. He asked her to dinner. She said yes. She told her best friend, Jenna, where she was going. She sent a screenshot of his profile. She promised to text by 10 o'clock. "You're going to fall in love," Jenna teased. "Maybe," Courtney said. "Maybe this is the one." She put on her favorite dress. She curled her hair. She looked in the mirror and smiled. She had no idea that she would never look in that mirror again. Courtney arrived at the restaurant at 7:30 p.m. David was already there. He stood up when she walked in. He was taller than his photos. Better looking. He had a nice smile. A firm handshake. He pulled out her chair. The date was good. Easy. Comfortable. They talked about work. About travel. About their families. He asked about her students. She asked about his job. He said he worked in marketing. He said he traveled a lot. He said he'd been looking for someone special for a long time. She texted Jenna at 9:15 p.m. He seems nice. A little quiet, but nice. I'll text you when I'm on my way home. Jenna texted back, be safe. Love you. Courtney put her phone in her purse. She didn't see Jenna's reply. She didn't see anything else. At 9:45 p.m., David paid the bill. Cash. No receipt. No name. At 9:50 p.m., they walked out of the restaurant together. The parking lot was dark. Most of the cars were gone. At 9:52 p.m., Courtney sent another text. I think something is wrong. It was the last thing she ever typed. The restaurant security camera showed them leaving. Courtney walking beside David. Her head turned toward him. Her body language relaxed. She didn't look scared. She didn't look like she was in trouble. She looked like a woman on a date with a man she liked. But something changed between the restaurant door and the parking lot. Something made her reach for her phone. Something made her type those 5 words. I think something is wrong. We will never know what that something was. Because by the time Jenna read the message, Courtney was gone. Detective Maria Sanchez was assigned to Courtney's case. She'd been a detective for 12 years. She'd seen a lot. But this case haunted her from the beginning. The dating app profile was deleted the night of the date. The photos were stolen from a social media account belonging to a real man. A man who lived in Seattle, had never been to Portland, and had no idea his photos were being used. The phone number was a burner, purchased at a convenience store in Gresham. The store's security footage showed a man in a hoodie and sunglasses. Average height. Average build. Nothing distinctive. The car was a dark sedan. Common. Thousands of them in Portland alone. No license plate visible on the security footage. Detective Sanchez expanded the search. She looked for similar cases. Women who'd gone missing after meeting someone from a dating app. Women who'd sent a final text that went unanswered. She found 2. A woman in Seattle, 26, disappeared after a first date. Her last text, not sure about this guy. Call you later. A woman in Sacramento, 31, disappeared after a dinner date. Her last text, something feels off. I'm leaving early. Both texts were sent. Both were read. Neither was responded to in time. The women were never found. Detective Sanchez requested the files from both jurisdictions. The patterns were the same. Stolen photos. Burner phones. Dark sedans. Women who vanished without a trace. She presented her findings to the FBI. They opened a file. They called him the last text killer. But without bodies, without witnesses, without physical evidence, the cases remained open. Courtney's mother called Detective Sanchez every month for years. Every month, the detective had to tell her the same thing. We're still looking. We haven't given up. We will find her. But the years passed, and Courtney remained missing. In 2019, a woman walked into a police station in Boise, Idaho. Her name was Rachel. She was 34 years old. She was married. She had 2 children. She had never told anyone what happened to her 15 years ago. I went on a date, she said. In 2004. I was 19. I met a man online. He seemed nice. We went to dinner. The detective asked her to continue. Something felt wrong. I couldn't name it, but I knew. So I texted my friend. I said, I think something is wrong. Then I told him I had to leave. I said I wasn't feeling well. He said he'd walk me to my car. I said no. He insisted. Rachel paused. Her hands were shaking. He grabbed my arm. Hard. He tried to pull me toward his car. I screamed. I kicked. I bit his hand. He let go. I ran. I got in my car and I drove away. I didn't look back. The detective asked if she'd reported it at the time. No, she said. I was scared. I was young. I didn't think anyone would believe me. I just wanted to forget. The detective asked if she remembered anything about the man. He had a tattoo, she said, on his wrist. A small snake wrapped around a cross. I saw it when he grabbed me. I've never forgotten. Detective Sanchez got the call from Boise PD the next day. She flew to Idaho. She met with Rachel. She showed her photographs of Courtney, of the other women. Rachel didn't recognize them, but she recognized the tattoo. That's him, she said. I know it is. I've seen that tattoo in my nightmares for 15 years. Detective Sanchez had a new lead, a tattoo, a description, a survivor who could identify him. She worked with a forensic artist to create a sketch of the man Rachel had described. She released it to the public. Tips poured in. One tip came from a woman in California. She recognized the sketch. It looked like her ex-boyfriend, a man named Paul. Paul had a snake tattoo on his wrist. Paul had been arrested for assault years ago. Paul had moved around a lot. Paul had never held a job for more than a few months. Paul's last known address was in Nevada. Detective Sanchez flew to Nevada. She found Paul living in a small apartment outside Reno. He was working as a delivery driver. He was driving a dark sedan. She arrested him without incident. He didn't resist. He didn't explain. He asked for a lawyer. Paul's storage unit was a museum of stolen lives. Photographs of women pinned to the walls. Women who looked like Courtney. Like the women in Seattle and Sacramento. Like Rachel, who got away. Handwritten notes. Schedules. Routines. Details about each woman's life. Where she worked. Where she lived. Who her friends were. When she was most vulnerable. A collection of personal items. Jewelry. Phones. Wallets. Items that belonged to women who had vanished. Items that were proof of life. And proof of death. And on a laptop, a folder labeled Last Texts. Detective Sanchez opened it. Her hands were shaking. Inside were screenshots of text messages. Messages sent by women who were no longer alive. Messages that had gone unanswered. Not sure about this guy. Call you later. Something feels off. I'm leaving early. I think something is wrong. Paul had kept them. As souvenirs. As trophies. As proof of his power. The laptop also contained search histories. How to delete dating app profiles. How to buy burner phones. How to avoid detection. How to make a body disappear. Paul had planned everything. He had studied everything. He had been doing this for nearly 2 decades. And he would have kept doing it if Rachel hadn't come forward. If she hadn't finally told her story. If she hadn't been brave enough to walk into that police station. Paul's trial began in 2021. He was charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted kidnapping. The prosecution presented the storage unit evidence. The laptop. The photographs. The handwritten notes. The tattoo. Rachel's testimony. Rachel took the stand. She looked at Paul. He looked back at her. His face was empty. No remorse. No regret. Nothing. I see your face in my nightmares, she said. I see your hands on my arm. I hear your voice telling me to get in the car. I ran. I survived. And I have thought about the women who didn't every single day for 15 years. Courtney's mother took the stand. She held her daughter's photograph. She didn't look at Paul. She couldn't. Courtney believed in love, she said. She believed in people. She believed that the world was mostly good. And you took that from her. You took her from us. You took her from her students, who still ask about her. You took her from her friends, who still wait for her to walk through the door. You took everything. The jury deliberated for 4 days. The verdict: guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced Paul to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Before he was led away, Paul asked to speak. He turned to the gallery. He looked at Courtney's mother, at Rachel, at the families of the other women. You want to know where they are, he said. You want to know what I did with them. I'm never going to tell you. That's the only power I have left. And I'm keeping it. He was led away. The courtroom sat in silence. Courtney's body was never found. The bodies of the other women were never found. Paul never told anyone where they were. He took that secret with him to prison. But her mother knew something. She knew that her daughter had fought. She knew that her daughter had sent that text, had tried to warn someone, had done everything she could to survive. And she knew that her daughter's story had helped save other women. Rachel was alive because of Courtney, because of her last text, because of the warning that came too late for her but not too late for others. Courtney Meyers' story is not just about a killer. It's about a text message. 5 words that could have saved a life if they'd been read in time. Her story offers lessons that can save lives. Lesson 1. Read your messages. Jenna was in the shower when Courtney's text arrived. By the time she read it, it was too late. If she'd seen it immediately, she could have called the police. She could have gone to the restaurant. She could have done something. If you're expecting a check-in from someone, keep your phone where you can see it. Don't put it on silent. Don't leave it in another room. Don't assume everything is fine. The one time you look away could be the one time they need you. Lesson 2. Send more than a text. Courtney sent one text. I think something is wrong. It was vague. It was unclear. Jenna didn't know what to do with it. If you feel unsafe, send specifics. He's making me uncomfortable. He won't let me leave. I'm at this location. Call the police. Give the person on the other end something to act on. Lesson 3. Trust your instincts. Courtney felt something was wrong. She knew it. She texted it. But she didn't act on it quickly enough. She stayed. She walked to the parking lot with him. She got close enough for him to grab her. If something feels wrong, don't wait. Don't explain. Don't be polite. Leave. Run. Scream. Do whatever you have to do to get away. Your instincts are not paranoia. They're your brain recognizing danger before you consciously understand it. Lesson 4. Check in with each other. Jenna texted Courtney back, "Be safe. Love you." She didn't ask for more information. She didn't set a time to check in again. She assumed everything was fine. When a friend goes on a date, agree on a check-in time. Text me by 10 o'clock. If I don't hear from you, I'm calling. And if you don't hear from them, call. Don't wait. Don't assume. Call. Lesson 5. Survivors have power. Rachel waited 15 years to tell her story. She was scared. She was ashamed. She thought no one would believe her. But when she finally spoke, she helped solve a case that had haunted detectives for years. If something happened to you, tell someone. It might be too late for justice. It might be too late for answers. But it's never too late to be heard. And your voice might help someone else. Subscribe for more chilling crime stories.